Hello everybody and welcome to IA Command. We have a gameplay video here for you all today. So I I organized a tournament this past weekend, and we played using the IACP, IA Continuity Project's Season 2 changes. A small tournament. We had 4 players, including myself, but got to record some gameplay. So in this matchup, we have Andy Skreen playing on the left. Watcher, hey Andy, what's up? Playing against young Journal Plagman on the right, and Andy is playing as the Empire. So Andy is playing with kind of a familiar list, but with a big change. We've got Palpatine, Thrawn, Elite Jet Troopers, Elite Death Trooper, 2 officers, and an ATDP with the new IACP card Imperial Retrofit, which is kind of like a Beast Tamer for the Imperials, which is a new card that was created by the IACP to help out massive vehicles. And then on the right side, playing as the Rebels, we have Journal, who is playing the A New Hope crew. So Han, Chewie, Luke, Leia, R2-D2, and 3PO with Doubt and, I believe, Extra Armor as his 2 remaining points. So very thematic list, obviously. Something I'd actually like to see the IACP maybe create a custom attachment for to reward people for running, kind of like Spectre Cell, but, not broken like that. So anyway, it looks like Journal is going to have the initiative with the die roll. And we are playing on the propaganda posters map, on the mall map, on the Coruscant back alleys. I believe that's what the map is called. So the object of this mission is you have the mission tokens there on the field. One player represented by the Rebel side, another player represented by the Empire side. And each player can spend 2 movement points of the figure to flip an adjacent poster to the side matching their faction, or matching their whatever side they picked at the beginning of the game. And for each one they control at the end of each round, they gain 1 victory point.
To use an ATDP on wall ball?
And now we have Andy setting
Even
up.
at the 3 movement points?
And
I mean, you can at least get him in threat range.
putting the Empire in front.
And it's much easier to shoot twice with him than it was previously. Right. Yeah, because previously some of the
So players are discussing the new cards they've been
the other thing
using.
that's cool about him is you can commit him.
The only big change for Andy's list is, of course, the Imperial Retrofit, but gives the ATDP so much new abilities, much more maneuverable, of course, and flexible.
Okay, alright, cool.
And on Journal side, I believe the only thing that's different is the figures are cheaper. So Chewie, Leia, and Luke have gotten price reductions.
The way it works is you take 2 movement points to flip them, right? Well, yeah, but it says...
So,
player with the red deployment zone claims a rebel mission token, and the other player claims an Imperial mission token. I think we start off.
So with this mission, the instructions tell players to claim a mission token, and you actually take one of the mission tokens off of the map. And we have a little rulings question on that. And
I forgot to give.
It's a I don't want to say mistake, because the card wasn't worded very well in the beginning. It's something that FFG had to clarify, but you do remove a mission token from the map. Each player gets to do that. So it's kind of, it makes it cool because it's a map that is always going to be different. Players are going to change which mission tokens they take off. Maybe they don't want to deal with the mission token, those green mission tokens up there, or maybe they don't want to deal with the mission tokens down in the corner with the 2 doors.
Yeah. So
makes it a fun variable mission.
So you take one first. I take a. Which one do I take? A rebel mission token. Then I take a Imperial.
So
or
unfortunately,
wait, it says claim.
Because the factions are determined by which deployment zone you're in.
Okay. Oh, that's not how I played it. Okay.
Rebel is going to be, or excuse me, Journal with the Rebels is going to be represented by the Imperial mission tokens.
Your rebel tokens. Because
And
that's the red
Andy's going to be
one.
represented by
Sorry.
the Rebel tokens.
I think
Not ideal, but that's just how you do it.
Okay, I'm gonna take this one off. Wait, no, this one off. And, okay, so I score points for. Okay, got it. I'm with you now.
So-
Alright, I'm picking this up too. Alright, yeah.
Andy's definitely got a numbers
I
advantage
already shuffled
over
my deck.
Rebel. I keep saying Rebel. Journal. Journal only has 6 figures and 6 activations.
Oh, that's right. Debt's repaid. Oh, come on. You know, I forget that probably 9 out of 10 times. I
Looks
play
like
two.
Journal just remembered to grab debts repaid
Yeah, last game I
with
played,
the
I forgot
Avenger.
it, and then
Since he's
I just
required
drew opening
to
hand.
start his
So I was like, oh,
hand
that's convenient.
with
There
that
you go.
card.
Here you
Both
go.
players drawing 3
All
cards
right.
from the command decks. And yeah, so Andy has 7 activations to Journal's 6. And Andy, the only
Now
skirmish
you can cut
upgrade
that.
he's running in his list is the, besides from the Retrofit, is Zillow Technique.
Good here.
So he does not have Rule by Fear, or Doubt, or Extra Armor. Journal has Heroic Effort, of course, because he has all unique figures.
Okay, so
And he needs to assign
Makes
block
sense.
tokens. Don't know that he's assigned his block tokens from Extra Armor yet. That might come a little later.
alright. So R2.
So
be
Journal,
super
starting
creative.
off with
Oh, I forgot
initiative.
about extra armor. Dang it.
Oh, and he remembers his Extra Armor tokens. So
R2 is going to be super creative.
Journal could actually pass here.
Most creative strategy of all time. He's going to move 3. Womp womp. And then Scalp Link.
But opting to get that card draw right away with R2D2.
I'm going to do some push shenanigans. I'm going to go 1, 2. Alright. So these guys each get to get pushed to the closest adjacent space. Doesn't matter which one I go do first. I don't think so. Okay, so I'm going to go
So
1,
Andy
2.
doing some clever shenanigans here
And
with
then
his
these guys also have 2
ATDP.
spaces.
The officer commanding it to move 2 spaces and steps on 4 figures, and because of the way he is ordering that, he's able to push Palpatine and that Jet Trooper a little further out than you might think he'd be able to.
Okay, so
By pushing the ones in the
3PO
back first,
is
he's
going to be really
able to
creative
push
too. He is going to focus on.
Palpatine 2 spaces out.
Hey, where are the condition tokens?
So that's one of the cool things you can do with a massive figure
Yeah.
and officers to really maximize your movement on turn 1. So we've got Journal now activating 3PO, his other support unit, and it looks like he is focusing Han. And I think we're just waiting to grab some focus tokens here.
He has Imperial Retrofitting.
Nice
so
thing
his
about
DP's
tournaments, everybody
faster
kind of shares components.
and tankier. Faster and tankier. Alright, cool.
And well, wait, let's look at that retrofit card again. So you can exhaust it to perform a move and gain a block token, which helps those vehicles since they can't really hide behind cover.
1, 2, so he's going to stay here.
So that's really nice action economy. So
Help's going to go here.
3PO moving up next R2.
One of your jet
And
shippers
now
should
Andy
push back.
is activating his
Yeah,
other
he's gotta go
officer.
backwards.
And let's see, the way he's moving it, it looks like he's going to have to push those 2 troopers backwards.
Wait a second.
Yep.
2. There we go. Where was he? This guy
Interesting.
was.
So again, getting more extra movement for the Emperor, who's usually pretty slow.
And then
The Emperor hasn't even activated, and he's already moved 3 spaces out of the deployment zone
a little bit.
up to that terminal.
Okay, so
DP very effective
less
at
activation,
pushing
so you go
minis
faster.
around the table.
I'm gonna go with.
So it looks like Journal just realized he has less activations than Andy, so he's going to pass.
I get to go through.
And here's Thrawn about to activate. So Thrawn using his 2 start of activation abilities. Gonna do long laid plans.
I'll go with Ron. So I'm gonna do. give that jet a block. Alright. And I'll look at the top card.
Doing long laid plans to give out a block power token to the Jet Trooper. And now looking at the top cards with Strategize. Oh, he takes out on the Lamb. Oh, Thrawn is brutal. Not having any shenanigans from these rebels. And he's going to double move him onto the terminal. Great turn for Thrawn. Always devastating to see a card like that ripped off the top of the deck by his ability.
Thank you for being able to remember.
Thrawn is such an interesting character to play against. And Andy's really good about being conservative with his Thrawn to make sure he gets to maximize his value into the late game.
Okay, so you got your jets and the walker. Oh boy. I honestly
So
don't
we've
know
got
what
4 acts
exactly you're
left
gonna
for
do,
Andy.
so might as well just get some positioning done while I can. Han's gonna go 1, 2,
Colonel still has the option of passing here
and that's it.
since he had
Because
initiative,
can you see anybody?
but he might be mistaken.
Yeah, I
So
can't. I thought I could see that
Han is
jet
going to move out
like a split second, but no.
onto the
Alright, you're taking him in there.
onto
That's
the
why I was
terminal.
thinking I was gonna put Han right there, but I think you can see.
I've seen some.
No line of sight from that position, but he is well hidden because of that blocking terrain. Journal doesn't have Gideon in this list, so he doesn't really have like out of activation movement shenanigans he can do. So he's kind of playing on the up and up here.
And as he's passing through there,
And
I'm gonna give a token to someone. I'm gonna give it to.
Andy activating the Elite Death Trooper, double moving him into the T-square area.
Well,
And it looks like he is using his ability to give a block token to Palpatine on his way there.
so Luke is gonna go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2.
With the squad captain.
Okay. Alright.
Journal is activating Luke, moving him 7 spaces with 2 move actions, getting into position by the door there. I don't think Andy has any plans of interacting with his doors, but he definitely has the option if he wants to. It looks like he's going to be coming through the middle, though, where that T-juncture is with the blue mission tokens. So Andy still has his jets, his DP, and Palpatine left to activate. I think he forgot to flip his activation token on the E Death Trooper.
You not only killed that blueberry.
He's definitely got some options here.
1, 2,
And then you know you're about to have a
5, 6, 7, 8.
So activating the jets. Oh, and he is moving over to that door. Not going to be able to open it from where he's placed his jet, though. Wondering if maybe he's thinking of having that jet go into the tiny 2x2 room to flip that yellow poster. Andy likes to use his jets kind of as objective runners
She's gonna go 1, 2, 3,
and leave
4,
the
1,
attacking to Thrawn, Palp, and the DP.
And that is him.
So Journal activating Chewbacca, moving in to support Luke. And this is a good move. So he's got Luke set up to have an action to open the door and still be able to attack. And then Chewbacca can move in and still have movement points to get in there and slam if somebody's in the room with him. So now just the Emperor and the ATDP for Andy.
I'm gonna go with.
No real shots for the ATDP to take.
Only Leia's left.
He could move it into position and then use
Yeah.
Palpatine
She can shoot
to
if she wants to.
get an
Look at you,
attack
Han.
with it.
The good news is with the decanter of endless water, eventually.
Because the cool thing is he can actually get 9 movement with the
Sorry,
ATDP.
beginning temp C3PO.
It looks like he's activating Palpatine.
Oh, we need damage totals too.
And he's going to tempt 3PO to put a damage on him.
I'm not even going to put the damage power token on him. He can't use it.
And of course the power token, pretty meaningless on 3PO. I think we lost sound here. That's okay. So I'm not sure what's being discussed. But it looks like he has moved Palpatine into position here to open that door.
That's all I'm doing. Leia's gonna go womp womp. Since Han can't see anybody. Yeah, no.
The army will be
There's an audio. Journals just got Leia left.
I'm just a messenger.
Han doesn't have line of sight to anybody from where he's at right there because of the blocking terrain between him and the Death Trooper. So battlefield leadership's not going to come into play this round. Looks like he's just going to move her next to 3PO.
Yeah, she's good. And
Sadly,
that is all my activations. Okay.
3PO is just one space too far away to give distracting to
He
Han
hasn't went.
for his cunning.
Yeah, he's not doing much this round, so I'm gonna tap him.
And now Andy's going to be activating the
So it's
ATDP.
gonna be 1, 2, 3. Stay here. Okay.
So using the
Very threatening terminal control.
free move action,
And I'll move the other officer.
getting a power token from Imperial Retrofit.
And then, so I assume.
Again, he's going
when
to push
using
Thrawn,
hitting
but
that,
now that means he shouldn't be able to move again.
Move people, right? Yeah. You don't have, like, if I'm gonna move again, I still get to move again, right? Yeah. Okay. That's what I figured. 1, 2, 3.
I have like 9 characters.
And I believe them there. I have a feeling I know what you're
So
doing.
Imperial Retrofit does happen
It's
at the
not
start of the
very
activation.
Alright, right.
So since he stopped and pushed
The ninja
somebody
DB.
there, he would actually be done moving. So once a massive figure stops and pushes figures out of the way, it cannot move anymore during that activation.
Points for.
I think this is a minor mistake here. He probably could have just kept moving it. He could have just kept moving
So,
it to that position without pushing
I did
displacing
not have
Thrawn.
any end around cards that I wanted
But
to
he did get a
use.
little bit of a bonus
Do
there.
you have any end around cards? Okay.
So that is the end of round
Passes.
1.
Do you have any starter? No starter rounds. I don't either.
So both players going to be scoring 3 victory points.
Try with General Weiss. It wasn't as impressive as I thought it should be. Alright, I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Now we've got Andy with initiative activating round 2 with the officer. Both players still deep in cover, although
Okay.
that jet trooper, because of mobile, could easily get out and get a shot on Han, but will take the return fire.
Well.
So right now, Han is focused. And he got to keep his focus since there's no doubt on Andy's list.
And I can't pass. Well, cannot pass. Well.
And now,
R2 's
because
gonna
Andy had initiative,
Scomflank.
Journal no longer has the option to pass. And he decides to draw a card.
Oh, he's actually gonna service 3PO. I was gonna say, alright.
So draws a card with R2 and then uses service to repair the damage from tempt on 3PO.
Take that.
Service is an ability that a lot of players seem to forget about on R2D2, since he can also use it to recover damage from himself.
A little bit prejudiced against orcs there. Are you self-gaming anymore? Do you
I
need to work
want
on
to
this?
punch him in the balls so hard.
So Andy's got some interesting options here. I don't think he wants to expose any of his figures yet. So he might go with the officer, another officer again. But he also can't really move anywhere without exposing himself to fire.
I'm gonna give him the bird. 2 of them.
Something he could do is open the door to the yellow poster and then flip it.
Alright, blue officer. 1, 2, 3.
If he pushes that jet trooper a little further. Yep, that's what he's going to do. So that now he can open the door, move in, flip the poster, and move back
Well,
without exposing himself to fire. And if Journal decides to open that door to go after him, then Andy will have a retaliatory shot with Emperor or the ATDP.
3PO's gonna go. He's going to
Journal
focus Leia.
activating C3PO to give Leia focus,
No, he's gonna stay there.
deciding
Seems
not
a
to
bit
move
weird for
him
me
to
to do that,
give
but I have my...
distracting. But Journal says he has a plan, so
Wait, am I? I'm Rebel tokens. You were Rebel tokens. Okay.
a bit confusing with who's Rebels and who's Imperials.
Emperor himself
Journal's
has betrayed his own empire.
Journal's posters
Can we
are
switch
the
them?
Imperial
Just to
side.
make it easier on us to remember. Do you mind?
Okay, but
Sure.
Andy
Okay,
is
that'll
recommending
make
they
it
switch.
easier just to remember what the hell is going on. Oh wait. Wow. Wow. Alright, okay, we're good. I
Okay,
was looking
so
at it, I was like,
update.
why is it
The
so
players
far
have
from
decided to
points?
switch.
But it's not. Okay.
So
Oh, we forgot to count those for last end round. Do they count?
So
I believe
all of
'Cause you claim
Journal's
them.
posters are going to be represented by the Rebel symbol.
Each player gains 3 VPs equal to
And
the
all
number
of
of
Andy's-
propaganda posters that match the token in his play area. And so I would assume, yeah.
And all of Andy's posters are going to be the Imperial side. So a little less confusing there.
Because I'm pretty sure.
Flip it mid-game.
So this
you know.
counts as a play area. I think everything
So
is
you
a
can't
play
get
area.
less than 1 point in a round. Is what it's saying.
Yeah, okay.
The real role.
Even if you flip all the tokens. Yeah, I can get 1 point. Crazy. Okay, alright. Again, if you're playing this wrong, I'm sure the viewers will.
I don't think that's how it works. So, mentioning that they may be making a mistake here, they are counting the posters that are not on the map as getting them victory points, so they have themselves at 4 and 4. But we'll have to check that.
5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Once he passes him, he's gonna get a dash token. Is it a trooper or leader? First squad trooper or leader? Yep. Alright. Death trooper. Well, fun. Someone's gonna open a door
Andy
first.
activating the Death Trooper to give a power token, damage
Man, I
power
wish I
token
had
to
that
that
on the
Jet
lam
Trooper
right
and
about
move
now.
back.
So I can do some risky
Andy
business.
playing
I know.
very conservatively.
Yesterday I played this in both games.
Journal lamenting that he has to play conservatively because he lost on the
Both
lam.
games, wow, both games. Well, Luke's gonna go. I don't like leaving Chewie out in the open, because that's like his biggest flaw. Well, Luke.
So just to verify, based on the wording, you do not get victory points for the token that you have claimed, only for the ones that are on the map, which are called propaganda
Leave Chewie
posters,
out for death row.
just for the viewers at home.
It's fine.
But we will be tracking the points based on how the players are tracking them. Alright, so
We're just camping. Yep. So who has left?
we had Luke activate and double move over to be next
Chewie,
to
right? And Leia.
C3PO,
Okay.
making himself a bit open to that Jet Trooper,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
but
6, 7, 8. And the other guy will.
Andy opting to just have that Jet Trooper flip the poster,
They're just gonna score some points.
putting the Trooper in a good
Alright,
spot. I imagine that other Jet Trooper is probably going to move in and flip that yellow poster since he moved in there with the officer.
Han's gonna go. He's gonna do
Don't-
some
Is he not
shenanigans.
activating him? I'm not sure.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4. 1, 2,
should
3,
mention
4, 1.
Both players
Two,
pretty
three.
rusty on this map or haven't had much experience with it, so might be a few rules mistakes. Journal activating does remember to or spend the correct amount of movement points and flips one of those green posters to the rebel side
Like, imagine she's got a full
while
tower
keeping
shield, she's
Han
tilting up like this.
pretty well hidden there.
Can't see you behind my tower
Charging
shield.
into battle screen.
There's no way for Andy to shoot at Han without getting hit by return fire. At least from what I see here.
Wonder, wonder. That was always.
Although that Han doesn't have an end of round shot on the trooper either, so.
She's got high wisdom and high charisma.
My wizard.
So let's see. Andy has Thrawn, DP, Palpatine left. His his three big hitters.
Should have gone for no or half.
Doesn't really want to go with Palpatine first because then he won't get an Emperor shot.
A pug dog.
So there may have been a flaw with having him be there to open the door. He could use the DP and just throw him into the middle of the map, have the DP open the door, take 2 movements with Imperial Retrofit.
Let's go Thrawn. I'll just keep
Okay, so Andy's going to activate Thrawn. And he's going to use Strategize to look at the top cards of each player's deck. Gets rid of Heart of Freedom.
I'm going to do some tokens.
And even though Thrawn can discard or not discard either player's cards, you pretty much always discard your opponent's top card with that ability.
I don't know where to put it.
Mentioning that the HDP should have a block token from last turn
Do you mind if I put it back
with
on? He should have
Imperial
damage.
Retrofit.
Yeah, he should.
Have you ever seen pictures of a shaved
Like a
raccoon?
power token? Oh, there we go. Oh, that's
Don't
because we're in.
use shaved raccoon unless you need some nightmare fuel.
Or maybe that he should have a damage power token? I'm not sure. But since this is round 2, Thrawn's going to be giving out 2 power tokens to any
It's
figures.
been 20 minutes and there hasn't been an attack.
I know.
Any Imperial figures on the map.
Alright, I'm going to put some tokens on people. I'm going to put
Journal mentioning that
a
20 minutes in, we're still 0 attacks on either side.
what? Screw it. I'm going to put
Both players playing very conservatively here.
Death Trooper. Oof, I'll put a
So
damage token on this Jet.
Thrawn putting a Surge power token on the Death Trooper to make use of those Surge abilities, and a damage power token on the Jet Trooper who has not so great Surge abilities. And an evade token on Palpatine. I believe this is only round 2. Not sure where the other token's coming
You're going to do
from.
something with Han. What are you doing?
Opportunity for
Stop. I know. Seriously. You are doing shenanigans. 1, 2, 3.
Andy thinking about what kind of shenanigans he needs to worry about from Han Solo. But again, there's really no out of activation movement in Journal's list here.
Alright, go for it. Okay.
Thrawn moves 1 space and ends his activation.
Ew.
That's fine. Making the kinds of friends.
So again, being very conservative. Doesn't want to expose Thrawn to early fire. Thrawn's so good in the late game when you start getting a ton of tokens from him. And his attacks can really sting in the late game. His only weakness really is his low health,
Actually, yes,
so
never mind. It does sound like a very terrible idea.
he can easily die to 2 attacks.
These are how my thought
Like
processes
2-3
go.
dice attacks.
Anyway, those doors are very rude. Leia is
Might
gonna.
see a door opened here.
It's like one of those
Leia could move up and open a door.
government loans that actually works like a grant.
Like the sale
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2.
we're
3.
selling to you for this amount.
There you go.
But
She's going wild
at the
too.
end of the lease, we have the
But
option
Leia's gonna go hang out with her
And then
Bay.
she's gonna play Change of Plans.
Han.
essentially at the end of it.
After you resolve a group's activation, exhaust 1 of your deployment cards to ready 1 other deployment card of equal or lower deployment cost that shares at least 1 trait. They share a smuggler trait. Who'd you exhaust? Chewie.
Excellent.
Chewie.
The Journal is using Change of Plans, and he is exhausting Chewbacca. Since Chewbacca costs 13, has a deployment cost of 13,
So we sell it.
and he gets to ready 1 of his other deployment cards. And since Chewbacca, I think, shares a trait with everyone except for Leia, he can ready. Oh, actually, it's just Han. Excuse me. They're the only smugglers. So he can ready Han here. So you know what? I was wrong. Looks like he does have shenanigans with Han here. So now Andy needs to consider what he can do with Emperor and the ATDP. He's in a tough spot. If he just continues to be passive, I think Journal's going to be able to overwhelm him in that green corner with Han and Leia. With his ATDP and Palpatine not really accomplishing much.
I say we just
Castle Hidden Suites.
I say we sell it because it's pretty sure.
I wonder if he forgot to activate that Jet Trooper down there because it didn't go for the token, the poster, the way I thought it would.
Which we could actually start.
Yeah, I think he did. So that's unfortunate. So again, I think he's probably debating whether he wants that ATDP to open that door and then move 6 spaces into the middle and start claiming those propaganda posters. And then if Journal tries to threaten or do anything to the DP, he can retaliate with the Emperor's attack. Additionally, he could have, once that door's open, the Emperor can much more easily traverse through that middle room to get to and support the troopers on the left side of the map. So we're just waiting to see what Andy wants to do here.
I'll open the door. I'm at 10 C3PO. Okay.
Oh, so Palp's actually going to activate and open the door first. But he's only got 3 movement. No.
I want to make a Palpatine pun, but I can't. I'm going to go with ATDP.
Okay, he is going to activate the ATDP. Changed his
So he's
mind.
going to get his token.
So ATDP is going to use Imperial Retrofit to get a free move and to get a block power token.
Okay.
And again, Andy
I have a
is
feeling
going to
Palpatine
step
wants some
on
of that
and
Wookiee.
push Palp out the way. But that would end legally. That would end the ATDP's movement here. But I think Andy's got a little bit of a mix-up on the rules there, which is fine because these cards, this Imperial Retrofit card's brand
Han is
new.
going to get
So it's a lot of these cards are very new to us, and we're gonna make mistakes with them.
shooting.
But you know what?
the
Andy
jet
looks like
trooper
Andy's
with
fine with the
surprise.
HTTP staying there.
If you will let me. I'll let you.
And all right, Andy is activating Han again in lieu of activating Chewbacca with change of plans.
I'm going to play stealth tactics.
He is attacking the Jet Trooper and playing Element of Surprise. And Andy is going to play
First
Stealth
attack of the game.
Tactics to
Let's
get
do
a white
this.
die.
Alright, so I'm doing this.
So we're finally getting
Watch you
some
roll that
attacks
dice.
here.
Alright, so
Getting a
I
surge
do not
block
feel like rerolling anything. 1, 2,
and the block token on the Jet Trooper.
1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. 5, 6,
So it looks
7
like
damage.
it's going to do 7 damage.
Anything
Exactly, going through defenses.
No.
But Andy still has Zillow technique.
I'm gonna pitch.
So that's the power of Zillow technique. He's going to be able to keep that Jet Trooper alive with 1
Darn
health
Zillow, it's a card.
and force Journal to waste another attack. Not sure what card he's discarding for that. Oh, Andy's saying he likes all of his cards, but getting rid of collateral damage. I think that's a good choice. Journal's list is pretty figure light, so they're going to be pretty spread out most of the time.
The Senate's turn.
So Jet Trooper survives with 1 health, and now
Actually, Han has 1 last movement. Yep. So he does. You know what?
Journal's got 1 movement point left with
Staying
Han,
there.
but he's gonna not use it.
I don't like Thrawn again.
So Palpatine is his final activation for Andy.
For real. For real. I'm gonna do that. Real, do that. Real
Another
turn.
damage on 3PO that
I'm gonna go.
I'm probably gonna get recovered away by R2, but it means that there's no power token going to Journal. So if that's what he wants to do with that, that makes sense to me.
3.
He just doesn't want to be giving Journal an advantage with power tokens.
Yeah.
or be taking damage on his own figures.
Token. I'm going to use my token. Okay.
So he's going to move the Palpatine up. He is standing behind the DP on those blue posters. And the jet looks like the jet trooper is attacking Han.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minus 3, so 4 damage.
So looks like 4 damage going into Han Solo there.
And I'm gonna go.
And because it is not the
flyby.
jet trooper's activation, the great thing is that it gets to use flyby to fly out of line of sight of Han and avoid his return fire. So great use of that ability, and it only works because it's the Emperor commanding the jet and not. If it was the jet's activation, he wouldn't get to spend those movement points before he got shot down by Han.
Okay. Alright,
So
end of round.
very great
Yes, so
tactical
draw
maneuvering
2
here.
damage.
So that is the end of round 2. Still no kills, although we've got some fire going on.
So, do you have any? Oh yeah, it's map effects first. Right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for me, and 1, 2 for me. Woohoo!
So it looks like they're
Oh, yeah,
giving
because it is
5
bad
to
boy.
Andy, which puts the score at 9 Andy and 7 Journal. And these posters are only 1 point each, but every one you flip takes away a point from your opponent as well. Journal has end of round shot with Han.
Yep, sure can. So he's
Shooting
going
at
to
the
attack DP
ATDP.
with tools for the job to add a red.
Playing tools for the job to add a red.
You could probably make that range anyway. I'll use one of my tokens.
Easily able to make range there.
Use that for my 2 buildings.
Again,
Dang, your 2 buildings.
ATDP, massive figures, you just can't hide them. As soon as they come out into the open, anyone and everyone can shoot at them.
5, 6. Ouch.
Great shot
Make that 7.
with positioning advantage as well. So that's 7 damage into the ATDP.
Worked out pretty well. They're coming for his and they got away.
And that's gonna be
Oh, doubt. I also have doubt. That's right. You can that's right. I'm gonna get rid of that Death Trooper's Surge.
and now Journal's using doubt to get rid of the surge token from the Death Trooper.
Alright, so I do not have any starter round cards.
So
I
ATDP still has his charge generators active, but if it takes 2 more damage, it's gonna lose some firepower. Great little flavorful effect FFG put on the card. Kind of a precursor to, I believe, a rule they have in Legion, where if a vehicle takes 3/4 or 3/4 damage, it like has a negative effect applied to it.
I will let you do that because I do not have negation.
And Andy has taken initiative, so this is
Or do
going
you
to
wanna
be
exhaust?
a big,
I know, that's what I'm
big
trying to
swing
figure
here.
out I think I'm going to exhaust the black guy, black officer,
And he's exhausting his officer next to Thrawn.
and
But Journal has not really left him a whole lot of opening. Only Han and maybe Leia are out in the open.
and then I'm also going to play
I could drop spiritual cards.
Second Chance.
No, that's a third one.
On
Next, Andy is playing Second Chance.
I could drop lesser
I'm gonna
rest.
play it on the DP. The DP is not a unique figure. Ah, dang it! Good point.
Journal reminding him he cannot play Second Chance on a non-unique ATDP, which is unfortunate because it would be really good on that.
And I think that is the end.
And Andy mentioned to me that the ATDP kind of replaced Vader in this
I do not have
VPT list
Oh yeah, then it was you. So yeah, I know.
as his kind of like big damage dealer / tank,
Do it.
and freed up some points since it's only 10 points with the Imperial Retrofit versus Vader's 13. So makes sense that he would kind of treat it the same and try to use the same cards on it as Vader. So it looks like Andy's going to be activating his ATDP first. He gets a free movement with Imperial Retrofit and a free block token.
You really want it, you can always just
So super tanky, black dice plus 2 blocks
minus that death.
for the DP.
I don't have that. Oh, no,
It looks like
actually,
he is going to be
Ready.
attacking
but it only,
Leia.
it's only,
Oh.
But that one person
I'm guessing it's
really
Leia.
confused.
1, 2,
And if
3.
he can't
Pierce
handle
1 plus
that,
1.
he'll be,
So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah.
6.
so I have grabbed silence.
Oh, it's attacking Han.
9, 10.
The big thing about silence is silence is
So Han's got 2 health left. That was a 6 damage attack.
I will.
Did you move with retrofitting?
With retrofitting.
Oh, crap.
And I
So return fire from Han.
I'll shoot him again.
Yep.
He should have line of sight from there. Oh,
There's an X on this guy.
Andy's doing
not
his
there.
second attack with assault.
Dead Han.
That is a dead Han.
And Han goes down without return fire.
Congratulations.
Ooh, that was a big one. So that's going to be 10
Funny
points for
thing is,
Andy.
that's the first time I've seen my own Han die.
Alright, that's it for
Putting
him.
him at 19.
That
was a big get. Denied Han an attack with that take
Leia's
initiative.
just sad in the corner.
Yep, Leia's kind of lost her partner in crime and is very isolated there.
just takes away a
How much health does the DP have left?
9.
Not all, man.
So ATDP has 9 health left.
Well, you see.
Leia doesn't really have anyone she can give an attack to because nobody has line of sight to any of Andy's figures now that Han is gone.
I was gonna think about saber striking the DP, but now that I think about it, all those blocks and Zillow technique,
It might be hard.
yeah.
Palpatine's hidden behind that blocking train line that
What?
he's just covering up with his base. So really the only target.
One,
So it looks like Journal's going to activate Luke here.
I know this is a really stupid question, but can I melee attack across that? That's what I thought.
You have to have reach.
All right, four.
Now you can.
Now I
So-
absolutely can. I'm gonna saber
Looks like
strike.
Luke is going to go after the
I'm
Emperor.
going to. What are his surges?
Recover 2, plus 2 damage, and plus 2 accuracy on a melee attack. Wow.
Okay, what's he rolling? Red, yellow?
Red, yellow. That's it.
I'm gonna put a surge.
Alright.
Yeah, I'll put a surge.
So
And it
Luke is going to use
auto-pierces
Saber Strike to get through Palpatine's block tokens. Andy uses his evade token, but
So surge for plus
gets
2
punished a
damage.
little bit with that second surge.
So,
I'm gonna tap this. So, 2 damage.
So right now we've got 4 damage, Pierce 3 going through.
yeah.
But Andy is tapping Zillow Technique to reduce that to Pierce 1. So it's going to be 3 damage going in on Palpatine.
1, 2, 3, 4. And I move 4. He's gonna go 1.
So Luke Skywalker, and this is Hero Luke, not
And he's gonna play
Jedi
Son of
Luke.
Skywalker.
And Journal playing Son of Skywalker.
Yes, he is.
A bit prematurely there. I think he likes to play that card after he activates.
Knowing you.
Maybe he thinks it's a little more fair, but
What's his health?
best practices is
His health is
usually you
10.
do that
He has
after your
built-in
opponent
buff.
activates a figure,
He's like
and then
peasant.
surprise them with a Luke activation without giving away your plan. But I think something important that Journal may have missed here in his calculations is the ATDP's charged capacitors ability and Palpatine's Emperor ability. So he went after Palpatine because he just didn't think Luke would be able to do a whole lot of damage to the DP, which is true. Because it had so many block tokens and Zillow Technique was unexhausted. But since he knew he was going to get to attack again with Luke, if he had gone after the DP, he would have put it over 9 damage, which would have met the threshold. That would have weakened the ATDP's return fire attack and also removed its ability to reroll
Thanks for the
here.
damage
So
token, my friend.
it looks like, and now because he's played Son of Skywalker, Andy knows he needs to kill Luke here. So it looks like
Okay.
Palpatine is going to activate, and now he can do Force Lightning, Tempt, and
He's
get
gonna put this on because of his
an attack here with ATDP with charged capacitors still active.
wants to.
So Luke's got a block token plus his innate block.
Pierce 2 plus 1. I think that's gonna get him.
Really? 1, 2. 1 health left.
Oh yeah,
He's at
and that's
9.
going to take out
1,
Luke,
2,
which...
3, 4,
See,
5,
and
6.
unfortunately, if Journal had waited on Son of
6?
Skywalker,
Wait, does
he
have
would
a
have been
surge for
able
damage?
to
Yeah.
draw a card
That's-
with Heroic
yeah, that's why
Effort
he's
and
dead.
ditch Son of
Surge plus
Skywalker.
1.
without having wasted it like that. So that's unfortunate. But again,
Yep, he's dead.
comparing him to Ezra, similar durability. Like he can take a hit, he can take one hit, but then he needs to be able to recover. Oh, that's the other thing they do. They both have recover too. So
Also, just don't murder the orcs that would probably cause you trouble.
I'll leave him there.
Can't say I expected that to happen. I always forget about the Emperor's Emperor ability. And how do I forget that?
Journal mentioning
Yeah,
he forgot
he's
the
really-
Emperor was going to have the DP shoot move.
Oh gosh,
but
yeah.
yeah, if he had waited a little bit on that
Well, I
leak
haven't faced off
activation,
against the
it might have
DP in
been
a long
safer.
time. I forgot about their sheer firepower.
So Journal's starting to lose
Oh,
figures here
is he
pretty
done?
quickly.
Your turn.
He's still got Leia and Chewie, but they are on the opposite sides of the map from each other. Whereas Andy's got Palpatine and the DP right next to each other, and Thrawn tucked away safely in the back lines where he wants him.
Chewie's gonna go since Palp and the DP have already gone.
So
One,
Journal activating
four.
Chewbacca.
Wow. 2, 3, and then slam. He's not gonna push you anywhere. He's just gonna roll a die.
Yeah, punch me in the leg.
So he does get a free slam action, so Chewie's kind of popping out in a pretty reasonable 3 damage. You know, I think that's about as much as you would expect against that DP with its bonus defenses from Chewie's attack, so that was good.
Okay.
I think Andy still has Thrawn though, and now Thrawn's got a pretty easy shot on Chewbacca there. Same for the Jet Trooper
Don't worry, you're
and the Death Trooper. So I would be surprised if Chewbacca is able to last through this turn.
I'll go Jets.
I think he's just gonna melt here.
1, 2, 3.
Chewbacca's kind of another thing to talk about, you know, at 9 points with Wookiee Avenger and the IACP adjustment. Like, he feels like he should be good, but Debts Repaid is just such an awkward card, the way it works. Like, you saw there, Journal lost 2
forgot the
figures,
coverage.
but because
From attack,
Chewbacca wasn't
targets have one
activating,
more.
he didn't get to get anything out
0,
of
then
Debts
target gets
Repaid.
Okay.
Oh, so Andy's gonna play set for stun here
If you roll next, I'm not sure how.
against Leia. So
You know what?
she's really gonna be
So for
stuck.
set for stun, if I roll an X, how does that work?
So I think he is accurately predicting what Journal was trying to set up there was by moving Chewie out into the open, he was going to get a battlefield leadership
And the
attack
damage still reduces to 0, right?
with Leia on the DP. But now because he's set for stun, she is stuck.
Man, wow, I did not expect that to be in your deck.
And because Heart of
I can't let
Freedom's
Chewie shoot
gone, she's truly stuck
Right.
there.
Hmm.
That is a devastating play, tempo play from Andy. I think that might
And you
seal this
already
one, but
discarded my Heart of Freedom that was in my deck.
yep, Heart of Freedom's gone.
I have a special ability called Running Out of Options.
So now no extra attack for Chewbacca, who is also stuck in the open against Thrawn.
I guess my
and 2
best
Jet
option
Troopers.
right now is just... Mm,
Journal considering what options he
I
has
can't
left.
shoot anybody with Leia. She has nowhere to run.
He
Yeah,
really only
she
has
really has
R2
nowhere
and
to run.
3PO.
So, I'm just gonna leave her for dead for now. And then R2's gonna go. Scomp Blink.
So he's going to draw a card with R2
Service.
and cover the damage off of
Alright.
3PO. What he could do is he could remove the stun from Leia and move her out of there, and then move 3PO up and focus her, and give her some extra evades. Now, it's obviously not gonna do anything for him this turn, but it will give him options for next
I
turn.
can't see it.
I suppose I can go 1, 2, 3. I can cross that line. I'll
Yeah.
go 1, 2, 3. And I'll shoot him.
Alright.
Alright, Andy is taking a flyby shot here at Chewbacca with 3
Oh,
darts.
it's killing me. Oh, it's an evade. Okay.
There's the evade that turns into, or a dodge that turns into an evade.
Does he have it built in?
You block that. Oh, sorry, 3. I counted that.
So it looks like he's doing 2 damage,
Oh, there's one.
or 3 damage to Chewbacca.
3.
Okay.
And then this one's gonna go. I'm gonna leave him there, actually.
And he's choosing to
And I'm
leave
gonna
the
go
Jet Trooper by
1, 2.
Chewbacca.
He was here. I'll move it back. I hit that.
Okay, no, he's gonna move him back into that corner he
And
was
this
hiding
guy's just
in.
gonna be a jerk. 1.
Oh, so he's not gonna go for Chewbacca. He's gonna go ahead and flip that
do.
post square.
Okay.
All right.
Your turn.
If you left that jet trooper out there, I would have healed that stun and then shot.
I know. I needed to get him out of there.
Journal pointing
So,
out that had the
Leia's
jet trooper
just
stayed by
Gonna be
Chewbacca,
sad again.
would've gotten
She's
nailed
just
by
sad this whole
Leia.
game.
So let's see if he does what I think he's gonna
I
do.
guess you can heal the stun first. Why not? And then
Get
play
rid of the
planning.
stun. Oh, he's not gonna move. He's gonna play planning. Not sure what
That would have been useful earlier.
digging for
Oh,
command cards is gonna
And
do
then
for him
she's
here.
gonna play Rebel Graffiti at the end of her activation.
He plays Rebel
You using that without
Graffiti.
Sabine? Yep.
No Sabine in his list.
Kid, got that?
Zero, just a 0 card for 2 victory points.
And then
So that's gonna put him at
Oh, the
8
stun's
points, I
gone.
believe.
yeah, okay. I'm terrified to watch this. I'll be like, oh, you stupid idiot, you missed this, you missed this, you missed this. Okay. Alright, done.
Don't worry, Andy. We try to go easy on you guys on the channel.
2.
So Andy's got the officer left to move the DP.
I feel better about using Rebel Graffiti without the Sabine because with Sabine it just feels cheap.
Journal
Sure, you
mentioning
can negate
that
it, but it just feels cheap.
without Sabine, Rebel Graffiti is a fair card.
Alright.
I would agree with that.
Uh,
Maybe not a great card, but a fair card.
wow.
So now that because he didn't move Leia, he has nothing to do with his 3PO basically. Yeah.
I could focus R2.
You could. You could.
Pointing
You
out
go
that
stun
yes,
someone.
you can focus
Yeah,
R2.
but that's just so hard to do.
And
I'm gonna just
audible
go
meh
1, 2,
from
3.
Journal with that
1,
idea.
2,
But moves him over to Chewbacca to
help Chewie out
offer
10.
distraction.
if at all.
I think that's the best he could do with that. With
Yeah,
what
that's
he's
his
got right now.
No
Alright,
focus.
so Thrawn still has a
Oh, I
shot on
keep on forgetting about
Chewbacca.
heroic effort. Whatever. It's very forgettable.
Yeah, it is very forgettable.
I think he's probably just going to go after Chewie here. The problem is, if Chewie's activated, you don't really want to go after anybody else because then you're just inviting debts repaid. Spoiler, possible spoiler for my game
I'm
against
probably gonna
Journal.
ditch this. I will ditch that.
Andy, being very honest, you just gotta flip it. Just throw it in the great discard pile. You know, the Thrawn players, they always kind of look at it and consider it like, am I gonna discard your card? Yeah, you are. Just officer's training, go into the discard pile from
I
Thrawn.
get to do 3 tokens.
Oh,
And Thrawn
geez, it's round
passing
3
out
already.
3 power
I'll do
tokens
block
since it is round 3.
I will do evade on
So block token for Thrawn,
surge on Death Trooper.
evade to Palpatine, and a surge to the Death
He
Trooper.
himself.
Interesting that he's not giving the surge to Thrawn.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Usually Thrawn likes that surge token, so he can get that double surge for +3 damage.
Of Thunder Tree. It has the disadvantage of being
Interesting. Not gonna go for Chewbacca here.
but
You know, like,
Yeah, that's a safe spot.
yeah.
Alright, Thrawn is
Alright, me
just
too.
happy to be in the back,
With my
giving
4
orders.
activations,
Overseeing
2 of
the
them are the
battle.
droids.
Alright, going into round 4.
I draw the last 2 cards in my deck.
Journal.
Yeah, the card
Yes.
I looked at
So,
here was
Journal, the cards he drew with
it's like,
planning would have
I'm never gonna get to
drawn
use that.
anyway at the end of the round.
Like, I almost should have burned this card.
Not sure if that was a great
That was one of
idea.
those, like, 1 in 100 chances where it's like, that card is the one.
Leia is totally cut off from her teammates
Okay,
here.
end of rounds, nothing from me.
She need line of
Nothing
sight
from me
to
either.
Okay, so,
her battlefield
Uh,
ability.
no.
okay, nothing from me. Actually, I might as well put second chance
Nope.
on.
Just has to shoot at the same target. So she could still get battlefield leadership with Chewbacca.
Okay.
So second
Yay,
chance
I
going
finally
on to
have
Palpatine.
initiative.
Alright, watch Chewie just wreck stuff.
Yeah,
Journal has initiative
could
here.
wreck stuff.
I think he
Definitely could.
forgot to use doubt to get rid of a power token. So he's got more important things to do.
Oh.
So I think the move here is to go with Leia and
Desperation
just get
moves.
a double tap.
Leia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Battlefield leadership doesn't say within line of sight.
Yep.
So
Yep.
You're right.
Don't need line of
DP
sight
with
to your
Leia
partner
first.
to do battlefield leadership. So
Blue, yellow.
we're gonna see 2 attacks on the DP with 6 health left.
Yes, one built in.
I think he might get it here.
Cool. Roll dice.
Players remember to do their victory points.
That's way too many surges for anybody ever. And
What are your surges? I think one's a +2.
it's just +2 damage, and then like recover 2 and some accuracy. So +2 damage looks
So
like
focused attack from Leia.
So I might as well get rid of
6
this card.
surges, I
One
think.
Zillow.
so 2.
So I have 3 built in.
So that's gonna put
I think we've
So
got
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's 0 damage.
except
Okay,
for
alright.
so 0 damage
Crazy.
with 4 dice.
But
Oh,
Chewie
Leia.
gets to attack
That's
next.
true. He does.
Leia. Come
So I'm
on.
going to apply his other token.
No rerolls.
And he has 1 built in.
So now Chewie's gonna take his turn. Again, built-in
Oh.
+2 block on the
Oh, this is-
ATDP.
1 damage with Chewie.
Man.
And
That's
he's
my biggest
putting 1
problem with
damage
Chewie. If he
in.
flubs, he
flubs
flub.
hard.
Actually,
Oh, he has
Although-
built in.
built-in.
Journal remembers the +1 damage, so they got it's 2 damage. So 2 3-dice attacks on the ATDP gets 2 damage.
Well, okay. I might as well go
And
with.
that's Imperial
Chewie have left?
Retrofit for you, because those were
He has
the
11 health.
He has a lot left.
block power
So let's
tokens
do-
at work. He would have done 4 damage with that attack. Or with that activation. But still would have fallen
It also
short.
kind of bugs me that it can't slam twice.
I was hoping he could have slammed twice.
Players
Alright,
mentioning
so I'm gonna
wishing
go
that
with the
Chewbacca could slam twice. I really think that's not
Imperial
what's
Retrofitting.
holding him back.
And gain a block token.
Oh,
And since it is Leia's activation, Chewie does not get to slam.
Points to play shared experience, so he becomes focused.
Now the problem though is that if
That's
Leia
smart.
gets killed,
I like that
Journal
combo.
won't be able to use Retrofit.
It's good. It works with the jet or with the jets too.
But I think
Yeah.
that was a
Okay,
necessary
and then I will shoot you
move.
before.
Alright.
Alright. So it looks like Andy is depleting Imperial
gonna
Retrofit
use his block
to
token.
focus his ATDP
Oh, what? Bruh.
and shoot at Chewbacca.
Looks like
Yep.
5 to me.
5. Yep.
So 5 damage into Chewbacca. But the ATDP is not done yet. It has assault, people.
Imperial Retrofitting. To become focused again.
Oh,
And I'll
nice.
shoot one more time.
Oh, what? He got focused. Oh, he used the other card to get focused. I see.
Imperial
He used the
Retrofitting
command
is the
card
stuff
to
of
get
nightmares.
focused.
I think it should be 2 points.
What is that card? Shared experience. Interesting. So he's wow, that's really clever. So he used the movement points from Imperial Retrofitting to get focused, and then now he depleted the Retrofitting to get focused again. So another 5 damage, leaving Chewie at 1 health. So lucky break for Journal there.
Yes, that's all.
He's gonna get to activate Chewbacca before he goes down. ATDP,
rather
2
get
health
Palp-
left, so he could get a slam off and get the kill.
7.
Primarily nocturnal with
I think you go for the slam here to try and get the free kill and then get an attack on
round
something
3
else,
points.
like the
Has
Jet
anyone
Trooper
flipped
or
anything?
Palpatine.
Not this round.
We're round 4, right?
That,
Right now.
that Jet Trooper's at 1 health left, and that's a 3-dice attack at 1 health.
For sure. Did I flip that last round?
Yes,
I
you
flipped
did.
that last round. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2.
Right.
Players remembering to score the victory points here, but we got them covered.
Yeah. Just me.
Cool. Right.
Okay.
So a ton of dice
Chewie,
rolling in these last 2 activations, but nothing has died.
Hmm.
Leia is standing on the by the terminal, behind the ATDP, covered up by its leg.
See how
Can't see her,
oh,
but she's there.
Unless you have
And now
urgence.
Journal has Chewbacca to activate.
Yeah, I'll just go with Chewie now. I was thinking about focusing him, but I
Journal
don't.
mentioning.
Yeah.
I don't think you want to wait to focus Chewbacca.
Well, Palp
He's
can
gonna
just, if
die.
it's only 1 damage, Palp can just ping it.
Yeah.
And Andy pointing out that
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So I
Chewbacca
just
will
need to
die
do
to
something now.
Palpatine's tempt with only 1 health left.
Chewie's gonna attack the DP. I want to slam him, however, I can't one-shot him.
You can slam him and shoot him. Yeah.
You can slam and shoot, but
So I'm going to apply token. He still gets
Oh,
his
I'm not
built in.
sure. Oh, he's got 4 health left on the ATDP, so a slam won't do it. So Chewbacca is going to have to rely on an attack here. We've got 3, 4,
Oh jeez.
Plus 1 damage.
6.
Yep. What does he need to die? 4 to die.
And it's 4 blocks.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Surge 6, 7 minus 4 is 3 damage, and stun the body.
Do you have any modifiers?
No.
That must
So it
just be a
looks like
surge on the yellow dice, so
3,
that's only 2
7.
damage going
Yep,
in.
minus 4. He's 3 and stun, right?
Yeah.
3 damage. 3 damage and stun.
5.
So he just needs 1 damage, so a slam will do it.
I think you know what I'm going to do next.
You are going to slam him.
I am going to slam him.
And he is not.
Chewbacca uses his free slam,
It's a 9.
and that finishes off the nightmare that is
You know,
the Imperial Retrofitted ATDP.
on the slam, but it wouldn't have done anything anyway because he was stunned. It's like he's not going to shoot.
Yeah. I'm curious, with that 9, how much am I at?
Wondering if, so Andy pointed out, because the ATDP was stunned,
20? Yeah. And you were at?
Andy it actually was no threat anymore because it couldn't attack from
And
Emperor.
then, during his activation, he's
Wonder
going to
if
play
maybe
Hour of
Chewbacca
Need.
should have
Used during our activation, you
Use
recover
slam
damage equal to
on that
recurrent
jet suit
round number.
instead.
So recover 4.
No!
Yes.
now Hour of Need to recover 4 damage from Chewbacca,
Yeah, actually.
putting him at 5 health left.
That sucks. So what do you have left to die?
I
5.
don't think he's still gonna survive this
Yeah.
round.
What does C3PO have?
He still has an action. He could move if he wanted to.
Nothing.
Nothing, because every attempt I've just serviced him.
So who has left to go?
Chewbacca should
R2,
have
thank you.
moved.
The droids.
I think Journal forgot to move.
Well,
And R2 can't really do much anymore, except for shoot people, which is
Because
crazy.
Slam is a free action, so he had another action there. And since Andy is at 32, as soon as Chewbacca goes down, that is going to be the game. So I think Andy thought he had it in the bag there with the Emperor's Tempt, but Journal frustrated him a little bit with the Hour of Need, healing some of that damage off. So now he's actually going to have to work for that Chewbacca kill. But I think Journal should have moved Chewbacca. He probably could have moved him behind the wall where that impassable terrain is, by the Stormtrooper or the Jet Trooper door. It would have been a lot safer. But it looks like Andy's gonna be shooting
You're
at
due for an
Leia
X,
here.
I haven't rolled one this. Well, the only one was
Elite
shoot.
Jet
There it
Trooper.
is.
There's a dodge. So Leia's not gonna take any damage there.
That makes it feel a little bit better.
Going after Leia is interesting because of Debts Repaid. Now, to be fair, this is round 4. It can be easy to forget that Debts
R2's
Repaid
gonna
is
go.
in the hand. So,
One,
Journal
two.
activating R2.
This corner, we'll shoot the Jet Trooper.
no!
And he's going to try and kill the Jet Trooper with R2, but that's going to be a tough shot. From range 3?
Alright, do you have a pierce 2 plus 2 or anything?
I don't have any range. I just
No range.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed the shot anyway. So because he only has a +2 accuracy built in.
Okay.
So R2 has a +2
No,
accuracy.
he was focused.
Yeah, as Andy points out, if Journal had taken the time
I damaged
to
twice one
focus
time
him,
with the
but
focus
then
R2.
the Elite Jet Trooper would have just run away, so.
I'm gonna go with my jets.
Very angry.
One of those things where it's like, if you spend the activation to get the extra damage, you lose the shot altogether.
Yeah,
I wonder if Andy maybe doesn't realize that Leia is 7 points in the IACP and maybe thinks she costs 8, thinking he would win instantly if he kills Leia here.
I'm gonna go 8 minutes.
But we have the advantage of hindsight. So.
I'm gonna use this guy.
Okay.
Alright, so Andy is activating his Jet Trooper.
And I'm gonna shoot. Okay, I'm gonna use the
And
token.
he's still going after Leia. I wonder if Debts Repaid is going to get played this game. That would be exciting.
Block both of my evades. So it looks like 2 damage maybe?
Yeah.
So 2 damages into Leia thanks to the extra evade from her ability.
Is gonna go. I'm gonna play Overrun.
And there's an overrun
6.
on the other Jet Trooper. Oh, that's going to be 2 to Chewbacca and 2 damage to 3PO.
Okay.
So That puts Chewbacca at 3 health.
Oh, it was 3 people. Well, so it's my turn.
Journal
Wow.
has just got 3 PO left.
So,
1, 2, 3.
And he flips
Focus
that poster.
Chewie, because why not at this point?
Nicely done.
from the other place.
And a focus for Chewie.
Alright, your turn. Palpatine hasn't gone?
Palpatine is not gone.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
And he still has Palpatine and Thrawn.
I'm gonna attempt C3PO.
Of course. Alright.
I'll go 1, 2, 3.
Attempt on 3PO, and it looks like he is set up perfectly for a lightning here.
Figure out why they're so scared of the Imperial.
Is it within 4 in line of sight?
If we attack this one, then that gives us a good
Yeah, for, wait, Emperor?
reconnaissance.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Another figure within 4 spaces. So
Yeah, it's just foresight, I guess.
I'm gonna command the jet trooper to shoot Leia.
Oh.
And I am going to use concentrated fire. I'm gonna stun.
Take them a lot longer to
The Death
So
Trooper.
Palpatine is commanding the Elite Death Trooper, oh no, the Elite Jet Trooper, to shoot at Leia and adding a red die with concentrate fire, but Leia rolls a dodge.
And then I'm going
so
to
she
use
is
Zap Chewie,
safe.
so do 3 damage on Chewie.
And
He's dead.
Yeah. And
I
then
think Andy was trying to pull Debt's Repaid out of his hand before he killed Chewbacca with lightning.
Alright.
But that is going to be 3 damage to Chewbacca.
That was
is the game
frantic
that puts
because
Andy
that
over
DP
40.
is the worst thing ever.
I was sweating bullets when you had Han over here, and then you played Change of Plans. I was like, oh god.
I thought I was pretty sure I was gonna one-shot that jet trooper until I had positioning advantage at the time. If I just played that and remembered your Zillow, I would have killed him.
Oh, I see what you said. So if you would have played it first, assuming I was going to sell it, you know. Jets are hard to one-shot.
They are.
I used to play on Drakata, and I remember I played a game against Jets on Vassal, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get it easy with a focused Drakata. You can't.
I cannot believe I never got to use Death Repay this game just because the no situations.
I didn't even think about Death Repay.
Oh.
Did I ever get close to triggering it?
Close. It's just, I mean, you kill my friendly figures, but that was when Chewie hasn't gone yet.
I'm so glad I didn't trigger that.
And then I drew these at some point.
Yeah, I kept wondering if you had negation. I tried to draw it out even did a couple times. But,
Yeah.
Are you guys done?
Yeah, we just finished.
Oh, I don't have that one.
Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed the IACP cards being
That was a good
played
bit.
on
That was
display here, and we'll see
crazy.
you for the next game.
So